What if I told you that you could stroll into a dealership and drive out in a luxury car without paying a single dollar up front, even if your credit score is in the gutter? I know it sounds like clickbait, but brace yourself because this is not a fantasy. People with bad credit are getting approved for high end cars with zero down every single day using hacks that car dealers never want you to discover. And today, I'm spilling the secrets. The craziest part? You probably already know why this matters because, let's face it, who wouldn't jump at the chance to own their own dream Mercedes or BMW without having to put a huge down payment? So let me ask you, do you want to be cruising in a luxury ride without shelling out a dime up front, even if your credit score is embarrassingly low? Well, of course you do. And if you stick around, you learn exactly how to pull it off. So, welcome to the Financial Freedom Network, the financial channel that fills your wallet, makes you money, and boosts your credit. So, just before we take a deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe to get notified whenever we drop another video that affects you personally. And I promise you'll appreciate it. So, buckle up and let's plunge straight in. So, imagine rolling out of the dealership in a shiny luxury car, your pocket's still full because you didn't spend a dime up front. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, it is possible. In fact, some lenders will finance 100% of a car's costs, even the taxes and the fees, meaning truly zero out of pocket for you. A credit expert even snagged a pre-owned Mercedes for around 19,000 with a credit score of just 620, and they financed it at 5% interest with no down payment and a 90-day payment deferral using a credit union. Now, if that sounds like beating the system, it kind of is, and we're going to show you how to do it. So let's break down all the options that can make this happen for you. But first things first, bad credit doesn't mean no hope, but improving your score, even by a few points, can save you thousands and make approvals much easier. So start by checking your credit report for errors and disputing any mistakes, because it's not uncommon to find inaccuracies dragging your score down, and getting them fixed can give you an instant boost. Also, try to pay down a bit of existing debt if you can, or get a quick credit builder loan, because every point counts. Now, while this video is about getting a car with bad credit, reality is that the higher your score, the better your deal. Even moving from a deep subprime tier, say a 520 score, up into the 600 plus range, well, that could drop your interest rate dramatically. So, for context, borrowers in the 500s often face 14 to 20% APR on used cars, whereas those in the low 600s, well, they might see rates around 9 to 14% on average. And that, of course, is a huge difference in your monthly payment. So, do me a favor and do whatever you can to boost that score quickly. Remove errors, make a couple of on time payments, maybe even become an authorized user on someone's card. So you walk into the dealership with the best possible starting point, because it could be the difference between needing $2,000 down versus zero down. Remember, the stronger your credit, the more leverage you have to demand no money down financing. Now, I know some of you are thinking, my score is still trash. I need the car now. I can't wait for months to fix it. Fair enough. The good news is most auto lenders don't have a strict minimum credit score for approval. Car loans are secured by the vehicle, so lenders are often willing to work with scores in the 500s if they see other positives. In fact, if you have a steady income and low current debt, you might find multiple subprime lenders eager to give you a shot despite the poor credit. Now, that said, improving your credit even a little might open more doors. A slightly higher score could qualify you for a mainstream lender or a credit union loan instead of only the super high interest bad credit loans. And that brings us to our next strategy. choosing the right place to get financed. So, not all lenders are created equal, especially when you have bad credit. Your best friend in this situation might be a credit union or a specialized online auto lender. Why? Because credit unions often have more flexible lending criteria, plus better rates for members with less than perfect credit. Now, they're not for profit and they tend to work with you more personally than the big banks. For example, as I mentioned earlier, one savvy buyer financed a luxury car through a local credit union and got just a 5% rate despite them having a 620 credit score, far below typical subprime rates. Now, many credit unions even run promotions like zero down, no payment for 90 days on auto loans. That means you could drive off in your car today, pay nothing out of pocket, and not even have a payment for 3 months. But here's a word of caution, just be aware interest usually accrues during the no pay period, but it can give you breathing room. So the key is to join a credit union ahead of time. Now, many only require a very small membership fee or even local residency. And when you've joined, ask them about their auto loan programs because you will be pleasantly surprised that they're willing to fund 100% of the car's value, even if your credit is bruised, especially if you can show steady employment and, of course, steady income. Now, another smart move is to get pre approved online with lenders that cater to bad credit. There are auto loan networks and websites where you just fill in a single application and get matched to multiple lenders who are willing to finance people in your credit range. Now, this saves you from multiple hard inquiries and also lets you compare offers. Many of these pre approvals are soft pulls, so they have no impact to your credit score, so you can shop around without worrying. Look for lenders advertising no down payment options. Keep in mind, zero down offers often depend on your overall profile. If one lender quotes you requiring money down, another might not. So cast a wide net. Check out online focus dealers like Carvana and CarMax too. Now, here's a fun fact: dealerships like CarMax and Carvana function a bit like buy here, pay here dealership, but on a national scale, and they tend to have far more competitive loans for bad credit customers. Carvana, for example, lets you pre qualify and see real monthly payment terms online with no impact on your credit. If their system says zero down for a certain car, that, my friends, is a solid lead to pursue. CarMax also has an in house financing arm known for working with various credit situations, and they've been known to approve subprime buyers and sometimes roll everything into the loan. But just expect a higher APR. So the bottom line is this: shop around for financing like you shop for the car. Use your credit union, your bank, online lenders, dealer financing, and get quotes from all. You might find one lender's willing to do no money down, even if the others aren't. And when you do have that pre approval in hand, you become a cash buyer in the dealer's eyes. And that gives you more negotiating power on the car's price, too. Now, what if traditional lenders still won't play ball on zero down? Don't despair because many dealerships have special programs or partner lenders specifically for buyers with bad credit. And you've probably seen the signs: no credit, bad credit, no problem. Zero down, you're approved. Now, as cheesy as those ads sound, there's a truth behind them. Buy here, pay here dealerships, in particular, finance the car themselves. You make payments directly to the dealer rather than a bank. Now, these lots specialize in customers with poor credit, and some don't require any down payment at all. Instead, they might verify your income and residence and put you on a high interest payment plan. Now, BHPH should be a last resort. While they'll often get you into a car with zero down when no one else can, they do come at a cost. So you can expect a much higher APR, sometimes as high as 20% or even higher, and often older or high mileage cars. Now, in a perfect world, you'd avoid these loans because they can be a bit predatory with their rates and terms. And they might also pack on extra fees or require a GPS tracker on the car for repossession purposes. But on the flip side, if you absolutely need a vehicle and you've been turned away elsewhere, a reputable BHPH dealer can be a lifesaver. But word of caution, just be very careful. Check reviews of the dealership and read the contract line by line, or at least have someone savvy read it. As Lending Tree warns, if you go to the BHPH route, it's vital to ensure that the dealer isn't engaging in predatory practices. Now, one tip for you here: stick with larger, well known BHPH operations or franchise dealerships subprime programs. Many major brand dealerships like Ford and Chevy have a department that works with bad credit customers and can sometimes get you approved through captive finance or special finance companies. Now, those guys might still do 0% down if, say, the manufacturer has a promotion or they really need to hit a sales quota. And trust me, I've seen it happen. Now, here's how you use this to your advantage: negotiate the out of door price and financing separately. If a dealer knows you desperately want zero down, some might just inflate the car's price or shuffle numbers to make it seem like zero down, but you end up effectively paying it in the loan. So insist on knowing the total price before financing. Then ask, what can you do for me in terms of down payment? I really need to put zero down. Many dealers can structure the loan with dealer credits or manufacturer incentives to cover a down payment, especially on new cars during promotion. They might also over allow a trade in. If you've got, say, an old car, they give you more for it on paper, and that will cover your down payment. But be aware, if you do have bad credit, you may be limited in vehicle choice when doing a zero down deal. The lender or dealer financing might only approve certain cars that fit a value to loan formula. Often they'll want you in a newer used car or a certified pre owned because those hold value as collateral. Well, that's not necessarily bad. You get a more reliable car, but it might not be that 2023 S Class Benz you had your eye on. So stay flexible and focus on the end goal, which is driving off with no cash outlay. If you successfully negotiate this, double check the paperwork, ensure it actually says zero down at signing, and that all taxes and fees have been rolled into the loan. Dealers can and will do this if it means making a sale, as long as the lender approves the structure. And speaking of lenders approving, one hack they use is sometimes stretching a loan term or adding a bit to the interest rate, and that can allow a zero down deal. And the lender often feels covered. But just be mindful: longer term and higher rates mean you pay more overall. It's the trade off for not paying up front. Now, before we move on, if you're finding these tips helpful, do me a favor: smash that like button and subscribe. Your support helps this channel grow, and it ensures you won't miss more insider tricks we share to boost your finances. We've got a lot more to cover, so let's get back to it. So, here's the big one: a cosigner can instantly turn a no into a yes from lenders. So if you have a family member or close friend with decent credit who trusts you, asking them to co sign your auto loan can open the door to a true zero down deal. How? Because the lender will base the approval on their credit strength, at least in part, rather than yours. So adding a cosigner can help you unlock a no money down car loan that you wouldn't qualify for on your own. Now, in the lender's eyes, the risk is reduced. They've now got two people responsible for the loan instead of just one, and one of them has a stronger credit profile. So, this could not only eliminate a down payment requirement, but also score you a lower interest rate. With a good cosigner, you might even qualify for prime rates and special deals that were out of reach for you before. For example, that manufacturing financing offer like 0% APR, zero down for 72 months, which usually requires excellent credit, well, that might suddenly be within your grasp if your cosigner's credit meets the criteria. So the important thing here is trust and clarity. Your cosigner must understand they're equally liable for the debt. If you don't pay, they have to, and any missed payments will ding their credit as well as yours. So do me a favor, don't even think about late payments. You'll be hurting someone who really did you a huge favor. So treat this loan as if it's the most important bill in your life, but done right, a co-signer basically acts like a cheat code for bad credit buyers. You get to piggyback on their creditworthiness to seize a deal that's normally reserved for people with high credit scores. And believe me, I've seen folks get into brand new luxury cars with nothing down this way, whereas a loan, they couldn't even get a loan for a used Beta. Now, it might feel uncomfortable to ask, but if you have someone willing and financially stable, this option could very well be your golden ticket. But just be sure to refinance the loan in your name alone once your credit improves in a year or two, and that'll release your cosigner from the obligation and reward them for their help. Now, when it comes to driving a luxury car with bad credit and no cash, sometimes you've just got to think outside the box. So, one alternative path is a lease takeover. Now, these are online marketplaces where people who have leases want out of them. Maybe they're moving or they can't afford it anymore. You can step in and assume the remainder of the lease. The beauty here is that the original lessee likely already paid the down payment and the upfront fees when they started the lease. So you typically just pay a small transfer fee and take over the monthly payments. Now, what that means is no hefty down payment on your end to start driving a beautiful luxury car. Now, leasing companies will still do a credit check on you to approve the transfer, and they usually want to see decent credit, but some are more lenient with transfers than they would be for a brand new lease. If your credit is marginal, say in the 600s, and it's not outright terrible, you might just get approved. And it's worth a shot if buying isn't working out, because you could be in a late model Audi, BMW, Mercedes immediately with no money down by picking up someone else's lease. But just be sure you can comfortably afford the lease payment and that you understand how many miles are left on the contract. Another angle is trade ins. Now, do you have an existing car, even a clunker that you own? Because trading it in can cover what would have been a down payment. Essentially, you're not putting in new cash. The car's value is doing that for you. For example, if the dealer wants 3,000 down for that Lexus you want and your old car is worth 3,000, then boom, that's effectively zero out of pocket. You've met the down payment with no cash from your wallet. Now, this obviously only works if you have a trade, but many people forget that even a few $100 for an old trade in can sometimes cover the fees or insurance that you otherwise would need to pay up front. It's a way of sneaking in a down payment without it coming from your bank account. So finally, consider if you truly need to buy the car right now. If your goal is to drive a luxury car and you're flexible, there are subscription services and long term rentals that sometimes have low startup costs. Programs like Audi's subscription or others might let you roll with a high end car for a monthly fee and usually no down payment, maybe just the first month and maybe a membership fee. Now, this isn't ownership, but it can be a bridge until you improve your credit or savings. However, Bear in mind, these services can be pricey and they require at least fair credit, typically, so they're kind of more a niche solution. So, the key message in all of these alternatives: be resourceful and patient. Whether it's snagging someone else's lease or using a trade in or waiting for the right promotion, there is a way to get those luxury wheels under you without a pile of cash up front. So by now, you've seen that yes, you can get a luxury car with bad credit and zero down, but it does come with strings attached. So it's critical to stay realistic about what you can afford monthly. Zero down doesn't mean zero cost. In fact, skipping the down payment will make your loan amount larger, your monthly payments higher, and your total interest paid greater over the life of the loan. Lenders or dealers willing to do no money down for a bad credit customer are taking a huge risk, and unfortunately, they charge for that risk with higher rates. So run those numbers on those monthly payments and be sure you're not getting in over your head, because the last thing you want is to fall behind and have the car repossessed, because, as you probably know, that'll wreck your credit even more. So choose a car that fits your budget, even if it's not the latest model S Class or 7 Series. You can always refinance or upgrade later once your credit is stronger. Now, one more pro tip: get gap insurance if you're financing with no down payment. Since you're financing basically the entire value of the car, and then some, by the way, with taxes and fees, you'll be upside down on the loan initially, meaning you owe more than the car is worth. Gap insurance covers the difference if the car gets totaled or stolen in that period. Otherwise, you could owe money on a car you no longer have. Some lenders include this, or your auto insurance can add it for a small bump. And believe me, it's worth it for the peace of mind. All right, we've covered an awful lot. So, to recap the game plan: spruce up that credit score if you can, target friendly lenders like credit unions, shop around online, consider co-signers, negotiate hard at dealerships or use BHPH as a fallback, and don't forget creative hacks like lease takeovers or trade-ins. Each of these moves can bring you closer to the driver's seat of a luxury car without draining your bank account up front. So if you found this deep dive helpful, remember to hit that subscribe button for more content that puts you in control of your financial future. And do me a favor: drop a like and comment. Let me know which of these tips was a game changer for you, or if you managed to score a great ride despite bad credit, because your story might very well inspire someone else. As always, thank you for watching the Financial Freedom Network. We're here to help you fill your wallet, make money, and boost your credit. Now go out there and make that luxury car dream a reality. You've got this.